Distinguished professors and fellow students, today we begin with a simple question. How should schools respond when intelligence can be generated on demand? From ChatGPT to DeepSeek, generative AI had rapidly reshaped not yet industry, but education itself. Our project explores this new intersection between technology and learning, between progress and principle. And next. When generative AI entered classrooms, education changed almost overnight. Students began using it to write and solve, while teachers use it to grade and guide. Yet this sparked tension between innovation and integrity, efficiency and honesty. Some people see AI as a creative partner, and the other fear it weakens fairness and critical thinking. So we ask, when technology enters the classroom, what do we truly gain and what might we lose? And next. To explore this question more deeply, we focus on one key issue. Should schools embrace or resist AI, and how can governance balance innovation with integrity? This matters because AI transforms learning, it enhances efficiency yet raises dependence, creative access yet widen inequity. Without proper guidance, it may erode originality and trust. How we govern AI today will shape whether it becomes a bridge to equity or a barrier to genuine learning. And the next, most research focuses on AI technical performance but neglect access and governance. In classrooms, both teachers and students remain uncertain about proper use. Digital resources are uneven, and STEAM fields often benefit more than humanities. Meanwhile, AI's black box nature reduces transparency and trust, a gap our project aims to bridge. And next, we pursue two goals: to identify values and risks of AI in education, and to design a balanced framework of fairness, transparency, and responsibility. We interviewed many stakeholders, students, teachers, employers, and tech experts to reflect real educational experience. And next, our research progressed through three phases: data collection, framework application, and policy design. This connects theory with evidence and leads to actionable insights. So, with the foundation, my teammate Xinhua will now share our stakeholders' voice and key findings.
Let's talk about our fieldwork approach. Next slide. Our goal was to understand how different groups experience and think about generative AI in education, looking at both the opportunities and the challenges. We used several methods. First, we surveyed 20 students from different disciplines and countries. Second, we did semi-structured interviews with teachers and HR professionals to get the institutional perspective. Third, we reviewed policy guidelines from Singapore's Ministry of Education. Finally, we interviewed EdTech developers from major platforms like Alibaba and Tencent to get industry insights. This approach let us study five main groups: students, teachers, policymakers, employers, and developers, each bringing their own perspective on AI in education. Next slide. Looking at students first, we found a clear tension between efficiency and integrity. On one hand, generative AI use among students is very high. 70% use it daily and 90% feel it helps them learn faster. Students like that. AI helps them complete work quickly and understand concepts better. But this comes with worry. About 45% are concerned about academic integrity and have fear of being accused of cheating. We call this integrity dilemma. Students want to be efficient but also want to stay honest. Three key points stand out. First, adoption is high, but awareness of long-term risk, like depending too much on AI, is low. Second, students feel torn between using AI and maintaining honesty. Third, some students prefer careful, mindful AI use rather than relying on it blindly. In short, students are embracing AI but also worrying about the consequence. Next slide. For teachers and policymakers, the tension looks different. It's between keeping institutions' reputation and trying new methods. Teachers have four main concerns. AI could hurt academic integrity, make assessments unfair, be hard to detect, and reduce students' critical thinking. Singapore's Ministry of Education takes a permit by limits approach. Their policy says students should learn core concepts before using AI, and that responsible use is better than banning it outright. However, a clear gap remains between policy and classroom reality. While the ministry promotes responsible use rather than outright bans, teachers receive little practical guidance. As a result, they often face AI-related challenge alone, trying to balance innovation with academic standards. Next slide. Now, let's look at employers and EdTech developers. Employers want students to have real-world skills and critical thinking, not just a high GPA. They support AI for practical problem solving and help schools give students experience that prepares them for work. EdTech developers and NGOs present a different perspective. Platforms like Alibaba think AI can make learning more personalized and accessible, but they have concerns too. 40% worry about data privacy, 30% about algorithm bias, and 20% about over-reliance, and 10% about access gap. UNE SEO also recommends combining free tools with AI literacy education. The tension here is clear. The job market wants AI-ready skills, but NGOs focus on ethics like fairness and access. Next slide. In summary, our approach shows three main tensions. First, efficiency versus integrity. Students and developers push for AI, but teachers worry about academic honesty. The challenge is creating clear rules and redesigning assessments. Second, innovation versus reputation. Students want new tools, but administrators move cautiously to protect the institutional trust. Third, equity versus access. Employers want inclusiveness, but NGOs find it hard to ensure fairness. These conflicts show that using AI in education is not just a yes or no, it's about how to do it well. This lead us to think about frameworks for ethical AI integration. Now, I will hand it over to Dongyan to talk about frameworks.
I will introduce how we apply frameworks to analyze conflicts. Here, we identified some tensions within the three frameworks. For fairness, there are some unequal outcomes. Under transparency, there's a strong demand for explainability, but in practice, we face a black box issue. As for responsible innovation, students tend to value short-term efficiency, where employees expect long-term capability and problem-solving skills. The fairness framework shows three types of inequality. For access, premium tools cost $20 or even $200 monthly. For assessment, teachers tend to grade fairly when AI use is unclear, and companies distrust GPAs. For outcomes, computer science students can use AI to tackle coding issues, where humanities students see less value. For example, AI may give fake historical facts and cannot generate value opinions. In terms of transparency, for students, the issue is they use the AI frequently, but they don't understand how it works. If they directly copy outputs without thinking, they will get misled by AI errors, and AI always meets errors in some sectors. For teachers, they find AI-assisted grading difficult to use. So, accountability here is ambiguous. As for the responsible innovation framework, in short term, students believe it's very efficient as it can help them finish homework and even achieve banker marks. In the long term, however, teachers and employees see a different picture. When Students simply replicate AI answers without thinking. They fail to develop critical thinking. This is the core tension. Short-term efficiency versus long-term general capability. Most importantly, these three frameworks are interdependent. Firstly, transparency enables fairness. Without it, disadvantaged students at unfair marks. Secondly, transparency enables responsible innovation. When students understand AI's reasoning, not just its answers, they can critically evaluate and even change AI outputs. Finally, fairness enables innovation. When all students have equal access, professors can design AI-assisted tasks for students. Therefore, effective governance can not only pick one framework, it must address all aspects in tandem. Now we are moving to solutions. We introduce a rule-independent mechanism. Firstly, start small for one or two universities, testing the solution in a controlled environment. Then assess results at the end of the term. Next, based on evidence, scale if successful, adjust if needed, or stop if abused. Besides, this is not a one-time evaluation. It's a continuous cycle. All our solutions will follow this rolling cycle. Regarding access, universities can provide basic gen AI to ensure everyone can access AI tools. Moreover, models can be tailored to specific subjects. For instance, coding is more crucial in engineering subjects, when writing is more critical in social science. In addition to the access aspect, it's necessary to teach people how to use AI and maximize its benefits. Students are also need to learn to be responsible for its output and recognize its bias. This is fairness and responsible innovation working in tandem, providing an equal starting point and focusing on long-term development. The second solution is to introduce transparency and accountability standards. On the student side, this, this closure is mandatory. If they use AI, they must state the scope and cite it. More importantly, students also need to explain their own reasoning, not just pass the AI output. On the professor's side, if AI is used for grading, the grading standards must be published at the beginning to make students know the rules. There must also be a human review pathway. If students question an AI grade, they can request a human double check. So here, transparency means students understand the rule, and accountability means they are responsible for how AI is used. Lastly, we want to evaluate how students think, not just what they produce. Firstly, initial ideas are mandatory. Students must draft their own thoughts before consulting AI. Secondly, they need to try to challenge AI, agree or disagree with its suggestions, push it further, and find its mistakes. Lastly, students need to explain their reasoning to professors and defend their ideas, especially when they contradict AI's suggestions. This promotes responsible innovation, shifting the focus from efficiency to capability, and it aligns with what employers need.
So, in conclusion, generative AI is transforming education, but its impact depends on how we govern it. Through our integrated framework of fairness, transparency, and responsible innovation, we can ensure AI supports, not replace, a human learning. Fair access empowers all students, transparency builds trust, and responsibility keeps education aligned with its core mission of critical thinking and integrity. Our vision is a future where technology enhances creativity and equity, creating classrooms that are smarter, fairer, and more human. Thanks for your listening.